Good evening. My name is Jay Rothman. I am the host of the show. Welcome to Real Men, Real Talk Live. Welcome back to the show. Again, my name is Jay. I'm the host of the show. I am excited to introduce my co-hosts. Tonight we have Jeff Fasano. Nashville, Tennessee is where he calls home. Welcome to the studio, Jeff.
Thank you, Jay. Good evening, everyone.
We have Josh Richard coming in from home again, somewhere in Southern California. Welcome to the studio tonight, Josh.
Great to be here with you guys, as always.
And we have on the top shelf, sitting right next to me, Evis Love Heath, the man of the land from down under. He calls Australia home. Welcome, Evis Love Heath.
Peace, my brother. And as always, my brothers and my sisters across the other side of the pond. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So as we jump into tonight's show, I want to take a moment here to welcome our viewers coming in from 3 platforms tonight: Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and LinkedIn Live. If you should hear something that you like or love, we invite you to tap your love button on your monitor and light us up. If you should have any questions that come forward during the show, please drop them into the comments. We'll do our best to flag and answer as many of those questions that you may have as possible. And if you are new to the program, we'd like to invite you to let us know where you call home. Let us know the city, state, and or country. We also would like to ask one request of you is if you should be so motivated and resonate with what we have to say tonight, please share it out into your friends and families in your social media page and help us grow our program organically. And so as we kick off tonight's show, initially, gentlemen, I wasn't supposed to be here tonight. It was going to be my first podcast that I was going to miss, episode 77. But at the last minute, our commitment for the night canceled out on us. And so I am here, I am present, and I am excited to kick us off this evening. Tonight's topic is all about it's not where you're from, it's where you're at. And we will be diving into subtopics such as why we hold on to the past over the now, what allows us to reveal our true authentic self without the mask of the past, and who will support you no matter where you're from, and which direction to turn to when you're not happy with where you're currently at. And last, but probably most important, is how to unlearn to relearn a more fulfilling life where you're at. Evis Love Heath, since you're sitting next to me on the top shelf, I'm going to invite you to kick us off and warm us up, get us hot as we dive into tonight's topic.
Thank you, my brother. As always.
Get us hot, Ev. Get us hot.
let's warm it up because it ain't where we're from. It's where we're at, my brothers. And as always, here in the land down under, thanks for having me again. And we're looking forward to diving in deep about ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. And we'll talk it in the meeting through the week with the brothers and what we'd really sort of come up with and why it hit me to sort of talk about this. I know, look, a lot of episodes and show you're probably seeing really starting to intertwine with what we're sharing here on at Real Men Real Talk Live. And it's no surprise why they seem to be intertwining. And for me, it's because I would say in the old way, in the old world, in the old 3D, it was capped. It was very limited on what we could share. You know, it was all about separation. It was all about suppression. It was all about control. You know, all of these other words that really disconnect ourselves from being our unlimited potential and that highest version of ourselves. Now, my brother Josh was sharing with us that, you know, he's had a couple of things that have come up within his life that are potentially really good opportunities for him to steer his life, his career in a direction that maybe add to what he's currently doing, or may even be, you know, more than just a side job. And I've been really having a good lot of deep conversations, as I do with a lot of people lately. And we all seem to be getting this opportunity to be able to move in this direction that I'm talking about. What I'm starting to see, though, my brothers and sisters, is that many people, they don't want to go into that new direction because they're actually so glued and stuck in the past from the known that they aren't having that real strength. They haven't really got that courage, or they really don't feel that sense of belief to go in that new direction. So when I'm talking about ain't where you're from, it's where you're at, what we really want to share tonight, my brothers and sisters, is I feel more so from an energetic level. As we go into this new earth, where we call, many of us in the community, the 5D, and I'm sure we should actually give our viewers a little bit of an intro about what 5D is. But to understand that 5D is many choices. It's many options, my brothers and sisters. It's unlimited potential. It's infinite possibilities. So my question is to you, my brothers and sisters, are you ready to take the upgraded version of yourself? Let me say that again. Are you ready to take the upgrades? Because my brothers and sisters, they're here right now where you're at. So yeah, we're looking forward to diving in deep, my brothers, tonight. I'm just going to leave it there and share the platform. Jeff, what do you reckon about that, my man?
Oh, I thought Josh was coming in.
I'm calling you, man. Jeff, just give us a quick little rundown of what your idea of 5D is too, my brothers and sisters, particularly for our brothers and sisters out there that aren't too aware of what we're talking about.
Well, on an energetic basis, it's the 3D is a finite place that we live in. The third dimensional realm is a very finite place. The energy is low and dense. As Ev said, and it's actually, Ev, it's a really wonderful way you put it. If we are multidimensional people, let's begin with ourselves first. I'll begin here. If everybody out there is watching right now, we are not one-dimensional, two-dimensional. We're not three-dimensional. We are multidimensional beings with many talents, many gifts, feelings. We're just multidimensional beings. We are not one-dimensional, two-dimensional. We're not even three-dimensional. We are multidimensional beings. So on an energetic basis, when we move and live our lives on a multidimensional basis, or move into the fifth dimension where there is an unlimited amount of possibilities based upon the unlimitedness in ourselves. Are we looking at us as finite? Are we looking at our lives as finite? This is all I know. This is what I know. And thus what comes up is the wounding or the safety and security issues. Mm-hmm. Thus keeping you on a one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional, or a low vibrational plane. So the first step is to look at ourselves as multidimensional beings. We are capable of so much. Look at your interests. Look how many interests you might have in the world. Look at your feelings. Look at all of your talents, gifts, and abilities. It's through, once again, our conditioning and our programming that keeps us in a finite place. When we talk about the fifth dimension or multidimensional beings, it's infinite. And that infinite possibility is within ourselves and energetically, when you move to the fifth dimension, that is everything is infinite. What Ev just said is that if we could look at where we are right now and look at ourselves, look at our talents, gifts, and abilities, look at our interests, our feelings, everything that we're doing, we are multidimensional and everything is infinite. So if we come from that place and detach or look at our attachments to the 3D outside of ourselves, along with our conditioning, and we really begin to detach from the 3D and move into this multidimensional infiniteness of ourselves, we can accomplish and do anything we desire.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
It's tough though. I get it. I'm going through it this week right now. It's like this whole episode is about expansion and letting go of where we are and moving into what the possibilities, what we can be. And man, it's been like this week's been bringing up a whole bunch of stuff for me. It's like, I'm taking on this new partnership role with this new business, and I'm taking over their whole online side and marketing side. And it's touching on, past beliefs that I'm not good enough, or I can't be successful. It's touching on past failed businesses that I've had, and big time. And it's sort of, it's thrown me into this really uncomfortable week. And I had to even stop today and sort of like acknowledge where I was at and be like, because I was starting to feel more stress and more anxiety and more pressure. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is just you being scared of the future, and you being scared that you can do this. And I've been there before. We've all been there before. We've obviously been able to learn new skills or move ourselves into bigger, higher positions, or do sports, or read books and learn new things. We're built that way, but it is uncomfortable. And I had to look and say, this is my brain wanting to go back to what's comfortable and wanting to go. And it would be very easy for me to go back to film and TV because I've done it for almost 20 years, and I can walk on set and I know exactly what I need to do. I don't have to think about it. It's not uncomfortable. I can joke around and have fun with my friends while I'm doing my work, because it's so learned. It's the brain knows it so well. And what happens in our brain is the prefrontal cortex takes up a lot of energy. That's our rationing, new learning part of the brain. And so when we are in these new roles or places or things, the brain's burning all this extra energy, and it wants to just go back to restoring where it was and putting you sort of asleep or in neutral, so that it's not burning this energy. It's trying to save that energy for fight or flight if we're being chased by a tiger. But that doesn't happen anymore in the world. So that's why when we try and do new things, you feel this draw pulling you back to the old way. And so I'm acknowledging it this week, and it's really uncomfortable, but I have faith that I've done it in the past. I can do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, you're muted.
Muted, brother.
Josh, let me ask you this. First of all, congratulations on this new business opportunity that you have dived in deep into this week. I want to take a moment here to ask, because I'm unsure. So, how do you embrace this new business venture in the 5D as opposed to the 3D? What is it? Is it an internal conflict or struggle? Like, are you living in a dual dimension where the mind is in 3D, yet there's your higher self that knows different? I mean, how do you manage the inner conflict between living in 3, going to 5, all while you're embracing this new business opportunity that has a lot of self-created anxiety and pressure that we put on ourselves because we feel in that moment that we need to prove ourselves to a partner or to an employer of that nature?
Sure. For me, it's the acknowledging the 3D would be, my brain and what it's trying to do, and then my fears. And that's just the fear of the unknown. Hey, if we knew the future, we'd be comfortable, but we don't. And that's why there's fear. And so it's acknowledging that, but also not letting it stop me. And that's, I think, where the 5D is saying that, I am full of unlimited potential, unlimited possibilities, unknown to me, because if I'd been there, I'd be comfortable. So there's these unknowns ahead of me, but that doesn't mean they're all bad. In fact, there's a ton of wonderful possibility in there that I haven't discovered in myself. So it's walking forward in faith, in trust, into the unknown, knowing there's going to be a lot of wonderful discoveries there too, while acknowledging and sort of, talking to that scared part of me and not letting it take the wheel and drive.
Beautiful. I love that. I want to share with you guys and our viewers this evening. It just came to me yesterday. I posted my experience of having seen a new dual doctor, meaning cardio and vascular. And as I listened to this doctor talk to me, in that moment, I had a very clear awareness that he is living in a very 3D universe. He went right into, basically didn't even review my test results with me. All he did was go right to trying to push pharmaceuticals on me. And I sat there and I just looked at this man. I just kind of assessed him, his energy, his body. And there was a part of me that felt empathy for him. Empathy from the perspective of, in that moment, I felt that I had more awareness and more knowledge about me than he knew about me. Because all he did was repeat the same nonsense that prior specialists have shared with me over the past coming up on 6 years now. And in that moment, I looked at this doctor that people put blind faith into. And I just, to myself, because I didn't want to disrespect him, I didn't fire him like I've done with other doctors, but in that moment, I had a very clear awareness that he's living in limitations. And I choose not to live in those same limitations. And he asked me by the time we were done, he said, so what do you think? Do you want the prescription? Or do you want to think about it? Or is it yes? And I said, well, doc, I'll pause. I'll think about it. But I already knew there's no thought. There's no thinking about that. For me, I choose to live in a different dimension than this particular respected doctor in the local community of Sedona. No, thank you. So for me, it felt very much like I have ascended to a higher level of being. And so I'm sharing this with you guys because for me, it's important. I'd like you and our audience, our viewers, to understand that living in the third dimension or the fifth dimension even can correlate or be related to our health and wellness. Mm-hmm. It's not just it's a choice, but it's also having the awareness that it can apply to all aspects of our life, not just one or two. What do you make of that, Ev?
Yeah, I love that, brother. And, what you're talking about there, the old 3D paradigm, it was all about surviving your body, my brothers and sisters. So what did we do? We looked for relief. The new paradigm of the 5D, it's about thriving in your body, brothers and sisters.
There you go.
It's not about looking for relief anymore. It's about actually release. So when we're able to release some of those traumatic things that we keep talking about and some of the emotional purging that's still going on this planet, and man, this emotional purging's been going on for years now. If you've been, down and getting some of these downloads and upgrades, you would feel your body evolving, my brothers and sisters. Now, none of us are doctors, and we're not on here claiming to be. We're actually just talking through living proof of living through our own experience in our lives. So what we're trying to do on here, we're saying to you, my brothers and sisters, that you can empower yourself. When you're able to really come back to that self-mastery and be able to empower yourself, you live in a body where you're at that is going to design the life what you want. But really, until that point, we will keep surviving in this body, my brothers and sisters. And like Jay is saying, not only for your health, you'll be surviving in your body for your wealth. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You'll be surviving in your body for your time. And to me, this is why I wanted to, really dip in about it ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. Because that bridge, my brothers and sisters, from that 3D to the 5D, which was 4D, is what a lot of people are stuck in right now. and that's
Mhm.
called time. We've moved into a state of timelessness if you want it.
Beautiful. You know, I keep I keep old school radios around my house, not because they're cool, which they are, and I buy them at garage sales, but to remind me that I can simply change the channel, and that we
Love that,
feel like
brother.
we're stuck on one channel, but look at this whole array that we have available to us if we just make the conscious choice to shift. And that's what Eb's talking about in the 5 and Jeff are talking about in the 5D. This is our power to take this whole spectrum of possibilities and not just stay stuck on one channel.
So I love that, Josh. I love that. That's beautiful.
Powerful, man.
And
Powerful.
what I want to do is I want to just talk to our viewers in this moment. If you are watching us right now, if you are with us on live or replay, and you are deep into some type of medical condition or medical diagnosis and prognosis, are you willing to change the station? Turn that dial and find the empowerment comes in changing the dial and changing the station. The empowerment comes in when you understand that you have choices in your health and wellness, and that you could go for second and third opinions as well. And this show isn't about, this is not a medical show by any means, but it is a show about empowerment. It is a show about understanding that if you don't feel comfortable with what a boss, an employer, a friend, a family member, a doctor says to you, you can pause and you could go out in nature and do some meditation or do meditation and movement. Change the station, put on a song that connects you to your soul, and pay attention to your intuition and your wisdom, because it won't take you down a path that's not right for you. It'll take you down exactly where you're supposed to be. And so Carrie Crary says, I'm practicing that right now, Jay.
Yeah.
And I applaud you, Carrie, because I know you've made some massive changes just in the last 4 weeks or so to take some healthy steps in your own recovery, your own healing journey. And I love that. It takes courage and all, but bringing it back to tonight's show topic, beyond just what I had to work through yesterday, it is about empowerment, and it is about understanding that why are we holding on to the past? What is it that's blocking us from having the courage to step in and feel empowered to take the steps to improve your own life? Abigail says, doctors do not know how to treat without pills. I have no doctors that are interested in natural healing. Clearly, Abigail is on her own journey. And
well, Doc, the old saying, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail. It's the solution they know. It's the solution they learned in school. It's a solution that's been set up in society for 100 years. And we know now that that's not the only channel.
Bob Phillips, coming in from Sedona, Arizona, a neighbor just down the canyon from me. He asked a brilliant question tonight. He says, how do you get the 3D doc to shift to 5D? Who wants to jump on that and answer that question for Bob?
I'll have a crack, but you go first, Jeff. You're going quiet on me, man.
I'm not a doctor, and people have their own choices to make in this life. Follow your own intuition about this. It's not about getting anyone to shift from 3D to 5D. If that is what our aim is, to get people to shift from where they are and move it, it's about inviting them. But the first person's got to shift out of that is ourselves. Simple as that. Once we shift out of that, we are not going to be resonating with anybody other than that, or anybody that's resonating or not resonating with us. So it's really not, we're not trying to ask anybody out there to or telling you what to do or getting you to shift. All we're doing is making suggestions, opening our hearts and being transparent and authentic and sharing our journeys to know and show you and be the models that shifting is possible. I mean, I shifted out of a corporate world of 20 years. And the thing about it is when we walk into the unknown, we have two things: ourselves and our intentions.
Beautiful.
Love that.
The only known in the unknown is us.
Mhm.
Shannon says education for the doctors, if they're open, is the shift. Yeah. And
Here's the answer for me, my brothers and sisters. We got a lit sister out there tonight. There it is, right there. Be the proof.
Exactly.
It's you leading your life by example, my brothers and sisters.
That's right.
It's you showing the biochemistry to your body to make it believe at this time that, you're the result. You are literally getting out in the planet, in reality, what you're seeing out there. So if your health's no good, obviously that's exactly what's going to mirror back to you. So like Jeff's saying, it's not trying to get these 3D so-called doctors that we're talking about to shift into this new way. Be the proof, my brothers and sisters. Be the example and create the results for yourself.
there you go. I want to.
And it's also about, stop trying to be right. What I know is the way it should be. If we are actually making this transitional shift within ourselves to a multidimensional way of living, we are raising our resonance and vibration to that. If you come in contact with somebody who's not resonating and vibrating in that place, why would you want to get them to go someplace if they're not willing?
Well, Jeff, that's a great question, Jeff. So many of us have always been pushing and trying to pull someone to come with us.
Exactly.
We're talking about friends. We're talking about family members. We're talking about partners, husbands, wives, mates. We're talking about siblings. We're talking about employees, employers. We're always, when I say we always, if we're right where we're at, how many times have we tried to pull someone with us? Why? Why are we trying to pull them? And are they ready to be taken? Are they ready to ascend?
That's right.
And I could tell you guys, that's a rhetorical question. I could tell you for me, I spent 54 years of my life trying to bring people with me. And what I've learned is that they weren't ready. They were not ready.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I pushed, the more I pressed, the more they pulled away.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much about looking at them and saying they're not ready, because we're not. There's no not. We are just where we are.
That's fair.
So it's about looking at somebody and then judging them and saying, oh, the reason why I can't do it because they're not ready. Like, so when were you not ready?
Right. You got it. I love that.
Everybody is exactly where they are in divine, perfect timing of their soul's divine plan. I am where I am. There are comfort zones that I'm moving out of as well. I'm where I am. But I'm an awful, I used to do the what I'm not constantly. The self-judgment of what I'm not, what I haven't done, what I'm not was a huge, green glowing word in my life.
And you probably felt like you were tied up in a knot too.
Really? And that was what it does. The thing about it is that what we're talking about 5D multidimensional is look at what we are and who we are and our talents, gifts, and abilities and all of that. When we start to really look at who we truly are, then we're not going to look at somebody and say, well, you're not there. You're not there where I am.
Well, that's nothing but judgment, right? That's what you're saying.
All the judgment.
Here's a good question I want to put up here, guys. I'm going to read it out and then invite one of you to see if you could respond. Chris Morrison, coming in from another neighbor coming in from the Phoenix Valley area, says, can you actually live in a fifth dimension if you don't see that it is all aspects of us?
Mm.
I don't understand that.
I thought maybe one of you guys can figure it out.
I think what Chris is talking about there too, look, for me on my personal journey, brother, we've got to understand too, like, we are currently in the shift. This is what they're calling it. They're calling it a shift or a transition, which has been happening. So it's very blurry for a lot of people. And, you know, can you actually live in this fifth dimension if you don't see that it is all aspects of us? I believe so, my brothers and sisters, because this body is 3D. This body is third dimension.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only time in human history where we have the opportunity, without being a Christ or Krishna or all of these other gurus that had to ascend through a spiritual side of things, that we get to take the body along for the ride.
Mm.
So what we're witnessing here is 1 foot in 5D, spirit, 1 foot in 3D, material. What is the bridge? It's time.
Mm.
And this is what I'm talking about, my brothers and sisters. If we're stuck in the past, which was 3D, then of course there's going to be a lot of 3D aspects about you that you still may have to shift. But like Jeff's saying, everyone's going to be on a different ascension, my brothers and sisters. Man, there's people down here descending.
Mm-hmm.
We're not all going along on the ride, and that's not to be any judgment. That's just the reality that we're living in. So I hope that answers your question, Chris, my brother.
Mm-hmm. That was beautiful, Ev.
It's a way to look at this is in an exercise that we could do is just look at the world outside of us and ask yourself two questions: what resonates and what doesn't resonate?
Yep.
Start looking at in the world, in the 3D world, however entangled or attached to the 3D world you are. And ask yourself, what resonates for me? What relationships resonate for me? What doesn't resonate for me? Then you'll start to find out where you are energetically, because resonance, vibration is all energy. And you'll know where you are energetically, because we are in this third dimensional world, but we don't have to be of it.
Exactly. What you're saying is, and if people don't know how to feel what resonates with them, listen to this. Don't listen to this. This will tell you what you should do, you have to do, you probably, need to do, or whatever. This is going to tell you everything in the 3D and what the brain is programmed to think our life should look like.
All right. That's beautiful, Josh. So here's my challenge for you tonight, because you opened this up and you shared what's going on. You just ventured into a new business opportunity. This is your first week in it.
Here it comes.
How are you? How do you think you could manage your own energetic field on a day-to-day basis as you are diving into your role and the pressure that, to a large extent, is self-induced? How are you going to be able to spend more time in this new opportunity, living in the fifth dimension, embracing that, as opposed to the old patterns, which is help create your success in Hollywood?
Right.
Those old patterns is what you lived in, and you got. And I say you, I'm speaking not just for you, but for me too. We got hooked, the adrenaline, on putting that fire, that flame underneath us to perform and to be enough and to exceed and succeed at the same time. So what do you think you can do differently in your new role here? Because I know you're not the only person right now that's embracing a new opportunity. There's millions of people right now in 2021 that are embracing a new opportunity for themselves. But
Yeah.
how can you do it in a healthier way for you?
Yeah, real quick, Ev, what was your number that you read yesterday?
Man, it was quite shocking when you think about it, but to me, actually quite uplifting. 4.3 million people in the month of August over there on the other side of the pond decided to resign from their jobs.
Which is amazing. So that's 4.3 million people stepping into the unknown. And Jay, yeah, you brought up a great point. It's like you and I know where that road leads when we push ourselves too hard, and we know the stress, the dis-ease, and the discomfort that comes along with that. And yeah, I'm treading through, or I feel like I'm walking through this minefield right now, because I know those dangerous spots. I know those things that can trigger me, and I know those things that can send me into working all weekend, crazy hours. And so for me, it's just leaning back into what I do know. And what I do know is that my self practices are what keep me performing my best, thinking my best, knowing when to calm the mind and listen to the heart. And so when I don't know the answers moving forward, I make sure to put myself in a good place where I know the answers in here. And so for me, that's leaning back into my morning meditation. That's leaning back into morning shakes, working out. And I know those things take time, and it seems counterproductive when you're having to like lean into a job really hard and maybe, feel like you need to prove yourself or feel like you need to step up to new challenges. I've been reading a ton of articles this week, learning all sorts of new things about social media and algorithms and I'm way into uncomfortable land, and it is eating into my hours and moving into my evenings. And I'm pulling myself back this week going, wow, I know where this goes, and it's not good. And I've been there in the past. So I need to lean back into the stuff that does keep me happy, healthy, mentally strong. So then I will be there when the answers come.
So if I may paraphrase what I heard you say, Josh, is what you just described. It takes commitment to self to not let the business hijack you. It's about hijacking.
Totally. And we allow it. It can't hijack us. We have to allow it. Change that channel.
Yeah.
Just hope all the people that are watching us are not changing the channel.
Us.
Right here, right now. Stay present. Stay present. Yeah. Well, as we approach coming up on 40 minutes to the hour, I'd like to take us into our final segment tonight. Tonight I'm gonna kind of open it up in musical chairs. You know how it works, and I'm gonna leave it open for questions. I'd like to invite our viewers to ask the questions tonight. For any or all of us men here, as we're sitting here, 20 minutes to the hour, and we're going to wrap the show up tonight on time. That's a commitment that we've made to ourselves and to our viewers to be a 1 hour show. And so tonight's going to be episode 77. If you should hear something that you like or love, please share it out in your community. And if you are catching us on replay, guess what? You're right on time. You're on your time. And so, so for tonight, we're going to have Jeff Fasano. We're going to have you go first tonight. And so I'm going to invite viewers to ask Jeff. The first question that comes in will be his question. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to propose a question for Jeff regarding this topic tonight, which is it's not where you're from, it's where you're at.
Keep it clean, ladies.
I'm ready.
You got 15 more seconds. Otherwise, gentlemen, you could hit him with a question as well.
Anything
Timer is on.
Time keeps on ticking, ticking, ticking into the future.
All right. Well,
Who's that? Who is that? Who did that song? Quick. That's my question to the three of you, real quick.
Man, I've got no idea, my brother, unfortunately.
All right, so here's your question coming in from Mary Kelly in Sedona, Arizona. She says, what keeps you in the 5D, Jeff Fasano?
I can't be a part of any of that crap going on in the 3D.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, most of what I see in the 3D no longer resonates for me. I have, in the last year, based upon the stuff that I'm doing, the stuff that I'm bringing, the stuff that I'm channeling, is really looking at my attachments to the 3D. What am I attached to in the 3D outside of myself? And I've come up with a lot of things. But going on what I said earlier, where not looking at 3D is what it's not. Living in a multidimensional way keeps me at a higher vibration and resonance. It also could be a very solitary path from time to time. But I look at the 3D and I see a lot of stuff out there that no longer makes any sense anymore to me, where at one point it did. A lot of things doesn't really resonate for me. The low vibration of it doesn't resonate for me. Therefore, I don't go towards it anymore. And I move into a new way of being in a multidimensional or fifth dimensional basis. That's a place where I'd rather be. It resonates for me. It resonates for me on so many different levels. And in some ways, it's really a challenge to explain it. It's just, you know what it is, as Josh just said earlier when he pointed to his heart, that's what it is with me. It's not here. It's not here. I don't feel it here. I might get drawn to it, but I just don't feel it here. So it's like you're almost walking to the tune of Steve Miller. That's who that was. Well, it's walking to a different tune, totally, or not totally, but doing my best or our best to trust ourselves, trust our stuff, trust our talents, gifts, and abilities, trust our intentions, trust it from a multidimensional place that what we move towards will move towards us in the world.
Beautiful.
Love it. Jeff Fasano, bringing it home one more week, episode 77.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
But as Jay would say,
simple, not
it
easy.
sounds simple, but it just may not be that easy.
There you go. All right, so Josh Rich, you're up. Who's got a question for Josh Richer?
While the questions are coming in, I just want to, if you are one of those 4.3 million people who are stepping into the unknown, man, we are here with you. You can do it. We love you. And fear is a really good barometer to us really going after something that we really want and we really desire. There was some quote that always stuck with me a long time ago. One of my favorites was that, what was it? If you're not terrified and something else at the same time, then you're not moving in the right direction or something like that.
Exactly.
The fear is where we should be, because that's where our future is on the other side of that. So
all right, well, we don't have a question for you, but we do have a kind of a question coming in from Bob Phillips. Got one for you here. He says,
all right, hit me, Bob.
Share something that you're looking forward to that will put a smile on your face.
Oh, man. You know what I really miss, what I need to do this week? I need to go out to the Santa Monica Mountains overlooking the water and overlooking Malibu. That always just, it calms just staring at the ocean, not even having to be close to it, but up above. It's kind of that special place where you get to look down across, everything, and it's just quiet and it's just still. And that always makes me smile. So thank you, Bob. You actually reminded me that I need to do that. So I love that. Love that question.
One of you guys have a double question for another question for Josh? Otherwise, we're going to move right on.
Mm.
Hold on a minute.
You go, Jack. You go, Jack.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we have a question from Chris Morrison. He says, "What was the value or principles that led you?" I presume he's talking to you, Josh, in a decision to embrace this new business opportunity.
Man, I haven't loved TV in a while. I haven't loved, I love for sure the creativity, the wildly fast paced creativity has always been fun for me. But it is a bipolar industry and I'm a bipolar guy. And so it's very easy for me to get lost in that. And I've been striving pretty much my whole life for more balance. And starting to get this new job isn't exactly that right now. But it is me stepping out of 12 to 15-hour days on my feet, and an industry that just sort of uses me to get what they want. And, we put in our hours, but these big companies just make, hundreds of millions of dollars on these movies and TV shows that I work on. And so it feels off balance to me, and it doesn't, there you go, Jeff, doesn't resonate here anymore. And then, but believing in something has always said that, I'm an entrepreneur, even though I've had failed businesses. Something in here keeps telling me to keep going and keep trying another one. Wow, I wasn't expecting to get emotional.
Beautiful. Bro.
What's coming up? What's coming up for you right now, Josh? Go in.
Man, it took when my tech business crashed. I mean, the healing path after that has been almost a decade financially. And that was my breakdown that led to my breakthrough. And so stepping even near that again is terrifying. But I'm armed with a whole bunch of new tools as well. And I think the biggest thing for me is I don't know how these new tools will apply to that old way. But I think that's what I have the most faith in. Like you said, Jeff, we have to put it into ourselves, right? So I guess I'm moving forward, terrified, with a whole lot of new knowledge about Josh. And if that's my only rowboat in this storm, then I'm holding on to the paddles and I'm going through it.
Take a nice deep breath, Josh. Take a moment here. Take a nice deep breath in. Let that drop into let it drop.
It's a good question.
It's interesting. When you got emotional in this moment, you saw it, if I may paraphrase you, as it kind of brought you back to the last time you crashed. And I didn't feel that coming forward in this moment. What I felt coming forward when you got emotional was excitement,
hope,
and awareness that you're not the same person you were when you launched that business. You're not. We're not the same person we were yesterday.
No.
And so what I felt came forward was infinite possibilities and excitement. And at the same time, honoring where you came from, but knowing that's not where you want to be today. You don't want to be in that 3D world up in here performing, but you want to be living in the 5D world, creating.
Yes, beautifully said. That's it. For sure.
I just got chills, Josh.
Magic, brother.
Bless you all. And it's no accident that when we live in the flow and live in the unknown, the answers come from everywhere, including the show, the viewers, the co-hosts, from ourselves. But yeah, that's beautiful.
I will say this, Josh. It's not to share accolades with you as much as it is to share my truth. You have so many talents, and you are so creative. And there's only one person that can block you from being who you are.
Yep.
And that's your own thoughts. I know how you feel. I've been there, believe me.
I know you do.
I was there, man.
You do. Yeah.
So living in the fifth dimension, I think, as you embrace this new role, is really about just in a moment having awareness of what's coming forward, and then asking yourself, is it true?
Right. Yeah. Is this a limitation I'm wanting to entertain right now?
Beautiful.
The answer is no. So I'll keep moving forward. But it's okay to not know. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That we keep circling back to is it's okay not to know.
But the question is that we don't know anything.
Exactly.
The word unknown would never exist if we knew everything.
Yeah. If we already knew how to do it, it'd be behind us.
Really?
So
Exactly.
By nature, the future has to be unknown.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Wow.
Somebody
that was a beautiful moment, Josh.
Magic.
Thank you. Thank you for being brutally vulnerable and honest tonight and sharing your truth. I think part of what happens is that when we're willing to put it out there in the universe and speak what we're feeling, there's a massive release. The energy behind all what I want to refer to as the uncertainty or the toxic thoughts and patterns of how we've always shown up for ourselves. When we speak our truth in that moment and we release it, it's powerful. There's empowerment right there.
And what we do is we stop giving it power.
Exactly.
And we take back our own.
Beautiful.
There you go, brother. There you go.
Beverly, this is it for you, Josh. Beverly, and I know you're going to understand this because you love being at the ocean. She says it's a paradigm shift and you are riding the wave.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Ev, you're up, man. Who's got a question for Ev? If not, I got one I could bring in, or one of you guys can bring it in. Any of our viewers have a question for Evislove Heath, talking about it's not where you're from, it's where you're at. And we kind of slid into the shifting between the third dimension and the fifth dimension. So June says, here's a question. June coming in from Toronto, Canada. Welcome to the show this evening. Glad you could join us live. She says, Evis Heath, what is your nightly routine you do before bedtime to help clear your mind of all the negatives to enable you to wake up feeling rested and positive? Are you always at a 5D at bedtime?
Beautiful. So. Yeah, 100%. Beautiful question, sister. I just want to start off tonight we sort of came into the show as well. I think we were a little bit uncertain how we were going to take the direction of where you're from. It ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. And I think it's been beautiful tonight to see that just how many of our brothers and sisters really open with this shift and this ascension that is actually going on from the 3D to the 5D. And it really just warms my heart to see just how many people are really shifting at this particular time on the planet, particularly here on Real Men Real Talk Live in the community. So, man, like Josh was saying, my brothers and sisters, if you're going through this shift and, if you're listening to this message, we know you are, my brothers and sisters. Always know that you got the support here with our brothers. So I just wanted to start off with that because it's been beautiful out there tonight, looking at so many beautiful comments from our brothers and sisters. And back to your question, June, yes, before I go to bed, I love revising the day. I go into my revision mode. You know, we're talking about if your life is not what you desire for it to be right now at this particular time, where you're at, one of those key things for me to set up the next day is to revise my current day. Now, I need to get into a very, very relaxed state to do that, my brothers and sisters. And what I mean by that is that I go into either a deep meditation, either through binaural beats, particular frequencies. It may even be as simple. We had a beautiful hailstorm here last night, which I was happy just to open up the window and listen to the storm that was coming in. When I'm into that very relaxed state, I go into the inner mind, the insight, the first eye. Many of us know as the third eye. From that particular point, I go over every detail of my day, my brothers and sisters. And if there was something that I did not desire or did not happen the way that I chose it to happen, I clear, I let go. I let go of those limitations, and then I simply play out the day how I wanted to see it. This particular review of the day, my brothers and sisters, gives you an opportunity to clean the slate. It gives you an opportunity to clean the canvas. So we can paint a desirable picture of where we want to be or where we're at, where we're currently in this fifth dimension. This is the magic of being able to live the reality that you want to see, my brothers and sisters. And I'm going to quickly finish on this because I've been sharing a video this week talking about this movie called Free Guy. And put it down in the comments, man. It's by far one of my favorite movies now. But at the end of that film, he actually starts to realize that he can rewrite his own program because he is the author. My brothers and sisters, my question is to you. Are you ready to be the author of your own life? We say it show after show and show, my brothers and sisters. In the 5D, it's time to create the life that you want to live and really take on the choice that you want to see out in your reality. So that's what I do overnight, my sister.
Beautiful.
Revise the day.
All right. Well, we got a question that came. Luke, where do you call home, Luke? Welcome to Real Men Real Talk Live. It's an honor to have you join us this evening. He says it's great to hear you inspirational men speak about this. What has been the greatest tools you have found to overcome society's draw to the 3D? Often I'm still drawn into it despite deeply resonating with living in a 5D. We could spend a whole show just on that. But I will say for me, it was just really about creating consistency and commitment to tools. It was creating consistency and commitment to my own spiritual practice. That includes meditation and movement. I don't do meditation in my home. I jump into the wilderness. I go into nature for 2 or 3 hours. That's the sweet spot for me. That's where I connect. It's about paying attention to the words you speak, paying attention to the words that other people speak, and then asking yourself, is it true? And asking yourself, is it good for you? And the third tip I want to give for me was I once owned seven TVs. Today, I have 0 TVs. For me, that was a huge way to detach, to cut the cord to living in a 3D. I don't want to listen to your downloads. I want to receive my own downloads, and they come from within. And so with that, gentlemen, it's been a beautiful show this evening.
7 TVs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why, did you have like 7 different football games on each TV?
Well, we'll just do a show topic on that. Peace and blessings. Love you guys. Viewers, share the show out tonight. Share it in your community. And we'll catch you next Thursday evening on Real Men Real Talk Live.